Hey everybody, welcome back. Another art school here. I thought I'd give you a little bit of a tour of my workspace here and all the different stuff that I have. So, as you notice, I don't know if you've seen this in any of my previous videos, but basically all my art supplies, for the most part, are kept into this simple tackle box. It's the same kind of tackle box you can get at just about any, fishing, sporting goods supplies store or whatever. As you can see, there's a lot of different stuff in here just because the fact that I never know what, I'm gonna come up with, a use for. There's highlighters here all over the place. I don't even know if half of these might be dead. One of these days I gotta go through here. Dry erase markers even, because once in a while I've got a dry erase marker up in my office over around the corner here to make notes on stuff. At the top here, topmost level, place for my pencil sharpener, another pencil sharpener here, rubber eraser. Again, very useful. I find this a lot easier to use than the erasers that you get with your traditional pencils, which have a tendency to dry out and become hard as rocks and just completely useless. This does not. You can stretch this out, you can twist it up and mash it, and works perfectly fine. I've had this one probably for a few years, and as you can see, it still works, still perfectly fine. All this stuff here, I don't know if you see these, these are just chunks of wood, like the eyes out of little, knots out of boards of wood. And the reason I keep these is because I also do a bit of wood burning. You can't really see that there, but that's kind of like a little cat eye there, and that one, a bit of a human eye in this one here. There's a lot more detail if you're able to see right up close there. And for any Harry Potter fans there, I've even got this tiny one here. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that one, but that's just a little tiny knot right there. So you never know, might come up with something clever for those. These are actually very tiny tips for this pen right here, which is what I use for practicing calligraphy. So I've got my hand into a lot of different styles of art. Then here, these are actually razor blades for cutting tools and stuff like that. Obviously, you want to be really careful with that. And then, let's see here. Lots of this, lots of these here, because a lot of times I'll use mechanical pencils, so never know when this kind of lead is going to come into play. Blending stump and your sandpaper for said blending stump. The rest of the different size blending stumps are over here on this side. Charcoal blocks, charcoal pencils. Down here is where I got a bunch of the miscellaneous stuff, like the chamois there, stencils for circles, a whole bunch of shells, actually. And these are not store-bought. These were actually collected on Tybee Island in Georgia. So never know what I'm going to do with those. A bunch of scrap notes of things that I come up with. Anytime I come up with something, I'll try and find a piece of paper just to make a note of it. Color pencils, simple enough, Crayola. More charcoal pencils for when this one eventually completely dies, which in my opinion, it's still got some life left in it, so it'll be a while before I have to open these. This is plastic cement. Occasionally I'll get into doing some models and stuff like that. This is just liquid ink for the calligraphy pens, and occasionally if I have to paint or if I have to draw something with a lot of black in it, I'll use that and just paint the black onto there. this is a bunch of metal stuff and sanding tools for some more of the model work that I do occasionally. More stencils. This is actually for drawing curves. In case you don't know, each of these is for drawing all these different curved lines if you want to do something smooth like that. Triangles, very useful for a lot of different things. So, and this is kind of funny here actually. Before I got, just gives you an idea how little I throw stuff away. Before I got these blending stumps, I made these blending stumps. And if you can't tell, these got a lot of use. How ratty they are. Their paper's falling apart and everything. And didn't even bother throwing them away. They're just sitting here. Bunch of pencils that, I don't know how these ended up all the way down here at the bottom of the thing. They should be up here, but I'm not gonna worry about that now. I'll figure that out. These, just little cards that I got from the hobby store, art supplies. Never know what I'm gonna come up with. I always buy stuff like that, you know, thinking, hey, this could be useful one day. And you never know. I'm selling always in with my art supplies. I'll see something, think it might actually turn into something one of these days, get it, and you know, it may be years before I actually do something with it, bring it to myself to do that. So put all this back here. One of these days I really got to clean this thing out. There's a lot of junk in there. Like I said, scrap paper. Need to figure out what. Gonna see what these notes are. And ink. So that is my supplies right there. Move that out of the way and get me some coffee because it's early. This here is actually interesting. If anybody sees this, this is a coaster that someone gave me at a fantasy art show that I did and showed off some of my art. The other gentleman was there, had these, and literally just liked my artwork, so gave me this. I can't even remember the guy's name. This was years ago. Funny thing about this is literally just a wall tile that he put some pads on. Did that. It's very creative. I've gotten some good use of that out of that thing. And then of course my figure here for, you know, modeling, posing and everything, modeling different poses. So let's get to drawing. Start putting that pencil to paper. I'm glad everybody's enjoying the videos, you know, those of you that have watched. Just to give you an idea also of the different stuff that you can find, the different resources, there's a lot of stuff out there on how to draw. This is just some of the stuff that I've got laying around my office here. How to draw and paint, drawing the human form, drawing animals. What else have we got here? Let's see. Figure drawing. This one's actually one of my favorite books right here. This guy, Christopher Hart, it's very good. He actually does another book. This one's actually really good. And this one right here, Cutting Edge Anatomy, is actually a really, really good book on learning how to draw human anatomy. It's very good for anybody that wants to draw, especially if you want to draw this style, this comic book, graphic novel style. Cartooning. This one's more for just drawing the actual human figure. And for any kids out there that want to learn to draw, you know, this is a good beginner's guide here. Some of this stuff is mine. Some of this stuff actually came from my dad, and there were books that he didn't need, so passed them on to me. My dad also is a cartoonist, and actually makes a pretty decent living doing that. So what are we gonna do today? Let's try mouths. I was drawing some faces last week and drawing the mouths, and yeah, there's a lot to that. So let's get this light shined on here a little bit. So obviously, you know, the mouth is one of those things that's also very varied. Just it can change from one person to the next. So I mean, you've got people that have those straight mouths, just like a small line here, and then drawing the lower lip. It always has a little downturned thing there. Usually doesn't take much to draw the mouth, that's all. It's pretty basic. I mean, and can fill that in with, let's do this in some charcoal here. So this is just a basic straight mouth here. This is one of those parts of the human anatomy you really just kind of have to practice it over and over again. You know, get used to it. At some point, you just do stuff like this. You just grab the pencil, put it to the paper, and just do a bunch of these. You know, see what you can come up with for a mouth. What different versions you can do. You got people that have these big lips, you got people that have smaller lips, poutier lips, stuff like that, fuller lips. So, again, you want to also pay attention to like where the light's coming from, so you can determine where the shadows are, because, you know, the lip does have a shadow to it. The lip has, you know, this part that comes out from the mouth or from the face. So you always want to do that. Plus it has all these little indents and grooves, you know. And of course that part there runs up into the little thing that runs up into the nose right here. So, but yeah, if you were to draw from the side, like a profile shot here, you'd almost have this like teardrop effect of the upper lip. And there that is. It's just like that. Almost heart shaped, you know, if you turn it sideways, it's like a heart, but yeah. Now, doing that in pen, let's see, where's my good pen? There we go. So if we were to do in pen, let's do a big mouth here so you can see a little bit of the detail here. Now, one of the things I've found is that when you're drawing lips. Again, there is a bit of a difference in drawing, you know, female lips versus male lips. It's always there's a pretty distinct difference, you know, in appearance. Not huge, but you know, enough to where it gets noticeable. It's one of those very subtle tricks of the human mind. I think we tend to do, and so again, paying attention to the contours, those little details right here, the shape of the lip coming or curving downward. And going back with pen, see here, you'll just it's always good to find a pen that you like. What pen, you know, does the lines that you like, the smooth lines. But that's not to say you can't make another pen work. I've drawn with ballpoint pens and, you know, just regular old Bic pens perfectly fine. You just got to learn how. You got to make it work for you, what you're doing. You know, understand your tools, understand the pen itself and how it works, and you make it, you know, make it work for what you're trying to do. There's ways around stuff like that. And it's like if it doesn't necessarily go on smooth, the ink per se, you know, you just kind of make it work a little bit. It's just a matter of practicing anything like that. But I've done it. Simple ballpoint pen, Bic pens. Those cheap ones you can find at the store for like 50 cents and for 20. Or 100, something like that. And again, filling in shadows down here at the lower part of the upper lip, because, you know, obviously this part comes in a little bit more, so it's going to be darker because there's less light on it. And we're going to say that the light's coming from the right again, just to get an idea where the shadows are. So this part of the lip right here is just going to be a little more dark here. Again, following the contours of the lower lip. There's even going to be a little bit of shadow coming down, because obviously the upper lip, you know, sort of acts like a shade and everything. So there's a little bit of shadow on the lower lip here from that. It's all these little details, you know, that make your drawings stand out a little more than the next guy. Details, lots of details, seems like. Not that they have to. Simplicity is, you know, just as you know, useful at times. Just depends on what you're going for. Depends on your style. That's what you gotta find. Your style. I mean, you look at Every artist had something different, almost to the point you can recognize with enough practice, with enough study, you can almost recognize a particular artist's style just based on seeing the drawing. You don't even need to see who did it to know, oh, that was done by Leonardo da Vinci, or oh, that was done by Monet or something like that. So yeah, every artist is like that, just about. And of course there's going to be a little bit of shadow on the lower lip here. And that's all that takes. So again, it's just a matter of putting the pencil to the paper, putting the pen down there, practicing over and over again. You get better with time. Everybody always says, oh, I wish I could draw like you. I wish I could draw as good as you and everything. I mean, think about this, guys. I just turned 41 yesterday. Happy birthday to me. I've been drawing since I was 8. So this is, do the math. That's 33 years of practice, 33 years of me just doodling, practicing. Anytime I had a scratch piece of paper and a pencil or pen, just doing this, spare time. Little by little you get better. Look into the different books I showed you. Some of these ones, like I said, are really good. They can show you the different styles. Look at other artists. Look at how they do things. See kind of what you want your style to look like, and just practice and keep going and going until you get to that point where you're happy with what you're doing, what your style is, and eventually you get to a point where you can do a lot of really cool stuff and have a lot of fun with it. It's very relaxing for me. So yeah, and just have fun with it. Hope you guys like this. If there's anything you wanted to see me try, see me show you how to do a little bit, please let me know in the comments. And thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, share with all your friends. More content coming up in the future. Take care. Have a good weekend.